All right. Since we were talking about the regional Scrum gathering, let me add to what coaching clinic is. While the conference will be in full swing, we will be holding a 2 days of coaching clinic. Now, we provide free coaching sessions by various expert coaches who are professional coaches from ICF, and they provide coaching sessions free of cost to the attendees of the regional Scrum gathering. We have experts from different fields of coaching. They could be from career coaching, they could be from relationship coaching, they could be specific to agile coaching. So different fields of coaching are covered. There could be coaches also from who can help you with the career transition. So you can join the session, you can make use of the various coaching sessions that is being provided. We don't restrict anyone for from having just one or two sessions. If you want, if you are struggling through certain challenges even in your personal life or in your professional life, you can very much get in touch with those coaches who would be available during the RSG. So make best use of it, and I think that's the best win for all the participants, apart from learning a lot, networking a lot during the session. Okay, so that's about the coaching clinic. And coming back onto the today's topic, let me share my screen. Let me know if you all can see my screen.
We can see, okay, yeah, now it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. All right. So today's session is about the lead edge framework. Now, we have seen across industry, there are so many mid-career professionals who aspire to be leader, but they are stuck in their career for a very long time, right? uh, it's not that they are lacking into some skills, but definitely there is some gap which we will try to fill that gap by learning what this lead edge framework helps in filling that gap. So you have already built the credibility in the organization. I am expecting people are experienced who are ready to take the next leap. So now it's time to build your influence. And remember, leadership position is all about building influence, right? A little bit about me. I'm based out of Gurgaon. However, I keep traveling to various parts of the country. I work as an enterprise agile coach. I'm a agile consultant and a trainer. I'm also a ICF certified PCC coach. I conduct lots of sessions, workshops, and work with leadership in their transformation journey. Apart from that, I do take up personal agility sessions across various organizations, individuals, and both in public and private batch. Apart from that, I'm the founder of my Twin Flames Consulting services firm, which provide these services. And if you want to connect with me, you are most welcome to do that. I'm a very community loving person. And if you need any kind of help, support, do feel free to get in touch with me. Here is the scanner for connecting with me on the LinkedIn, and my contact details are also there. So that's a little bit about me. Now let's get onto the lead edge framework. You must be wondering what this framework is, right? Now, this is not a framework like any other to build or develop your skill, okay? Because you already have gone through lot of experience, lot of, skill building, capability building trainings, but now is the time to make some changes in your behavior, and this lead edge framework helps you to bring that behavioral change in your personality. Okay, Uh, just a small reflection, what got you here won't get you to the next level. That means you already have had enough of experience. Now there needs to bring some change, which will help you to take a shift to the next level of your career. Outcome of this session is to be seen as a leader who drives outcomes, aligns people, and think enterprise wide. Now, the common traps which a mid-career professionals usually face is they are over relying on their technical strength. And instead of enabling others, they believe, let me do it on my own because I am an expert. You might be an SME, but remember, for that leadership leap, you don't need to be an SME or all the time, right? There is much more that needs to be added to your personality, right? You cannot sit back, avoiding your visibility. Now is the right time to create an impact and be known across the enterprise so that you create that influence that expand within the organization and lot more. Instead of avoiding any conflict, you need to face that hard conversations, right? You need to face that hard conversation where misalignment is growing. So you need to remove those misalignment, right? Instead of being a reactive communicator, you need to respond to those noise, which actually turns it back into framing a good decisions. Now, burnout from over responsibility. You cannot be carrying over responsibility if you want to be a strategic leader, right? Carrying everything on your shoulders actually hinder, that's a hindrance in enabling others. And the true quality of a leader is to enable people in the organization and not doing things on your own. As an outcome of the key message is clarity on what to stop doing and what to start doing. That clarity needs to be viewed if you want to take the next step as a leader. Okay, so start reflecting on what you have been doing so far, what you need to stop doing out of that, right? So today you can prepare a checklist of things that you have been doing and things that you have been overdoing, right? And then that will give you an idea of where to stop and what to stop doing, right? You need to create a space within yourself so that you can bring some change in your behavior, new change in your behavior. Now, this webinar is not just, about discussing about the framework. It would be really great if you can sit with a notepad and a pen, because this will give you, lot of activities and tools also across this lead edge framework. So each of these acronym will give you certain set of tools. Okay, and I highly encourage you all to take a note of it so that you can make best use of these tools. Okay, so this is actually a practical framework which is based on tools, right? Now, what is the lead edge framework? It's a practical behavior framework for a mid-career shift. Move from being the dependable expert to being the leader who shapes decisions, aligns stakeholders, and drive enterprise outcomes. Now, when you get into a leadership position, the key thing which you have to do is to take the right decisions. You need to align with the stakeholders and drive the enterprise level outcomes, right? These are the three key things that you need to do. Now, apart from, applying this tool in your day-to-day work or in your profession, much before that, it calls for a mindset shift. Okay, you are no more part of your early career. You need to take a shift from early career to mid career, and from that point you need to expand your influence, right? From doing to driving. So again, you can take a note of, few of the things that you are doing right now, but identify at least two things that you are driving, or at least you aspire to drive in your organization. So that will become your kickstart, right? So take a shift from doing to driving. Deliver work, enough of deliverables that you have done in your life, right? Now is the right time to drive the outcomes. Drive the outcomes, but not without measuring the results, right? So measure the results for whatever outcomes you are driving, not the efforts. Own the results and unblock others. That means you need to enable others, right? Instead of just focusing on building the skills, start building influence as a leader in the organization. Now, again, take a note of what are the two activities that you will do to build the influence in the organization. Now, you must be hearing, I'm not limiting the scope to the team or the product which you are working on or working with. Actually, you need to expand yourself to the organization level. When we are talking about the outcome, it is not again being limited to the team level or at the product level. We need to again expand ourselves to think beyond team, right? And beyond team is the enterprise. Prove yourself instead of proving yourself. That is what you have been doing so far, right? Now is the right time to position yourself in the organization and being seen as a strategic leader, to be perceived as ready for the next step. So you don't need to prove anything any further now. You need to position yourself. Now, how do we achieve this mindset shift? It's not just a dialogue, but you need to actually bring that into your action, on into your day-to-day action, which becomes visible to the entire organization. Reflection for you is, are you still operating like an early career professional, or you have taken a move from there? So this is a question which you need to reflect upon. What does the framework says? It is based on 5 drivers. First, L, that represents leadership presence. We'll learn using the tools how do we create this leadership presence. Second one is emotional regulation. So we are not limiting ourselves to be emotionally intelligent and apply EI. We need to self regulate our emotions. Third one is A, that is aligned communication, right? So instead of just getting into a communication, we need to get into an aligned communication. We'll see how do we achieve this. D represents deliberate visibility. So it's a conscious choice or a conscious decision of yours where we bring ourselves at the front foot deliberately, right? And the last one is edge, which actually helps us to establish ourselves and elevate our strategic influence across the bigger audience. Now, the principle of this framework is influence grows when your behavior is consistent across pressure, communication, and visibility. So it's all about bringing that influence in your personality in whatever actions you perform on a day to day basis in the organization. And how do you use this framework? You don't have to jump onto all these levers at a time. Just pick one at a time. Practice it for 30 days consciously with full awareness, right? Leadership, remember, leadership position is all about rising ourselves to the next level of consciousness. And that can only be achieved if we are more aware and we take that conscious decision of doing whatever we are doing, right? So consciously you choose one of the lever here, which is mentioned above, and practice it for 30 days and then integrate it with the next one. So that means when you choose E, after practicing for 30 days L, that is leadership presence, you must integrate on top of it. Okay. All right. Now, this leadership presence, how do we do it? When the stakes are high, use the 3P reset tool. And what do we do? Pause, posture, and point. So, when the stakes are high, take a back step, just pause for a while, just for 10 seconds. This step will take only 10 seconds. Pause, don't react or respond immediately. Anchor your body. That means either you keep your feet grounded, shoulders open, hands still. So bring that firmness in your posture, and then P represents point. What is my key message that I'm going to convey? Right? You need to be very concisely frame that message, because if you fumble with words or if you over explain, things are not going to work the way we want to. So here we need to create our leadership presence, and for that, pause, posture, and point, all these three matters simultaneously. So you can give yourself a micro commitment that in your next meeting you are going to apply this tool with one clear point, at least one key message that you want to bring on the table during that meeting. Okay, and let's start trying this tool on a day-to-day basis for next 30 days. I'll not get into more details on this point. However, this is an interactive exercise and maybe you can take a note of this. The prompt is also given, so you can frame like this: the situation is, the impact is, and the decision I need is XYZ. Okay, that one key message that needs to be framed. So when you establish your leadership presence, your communication also needs to be very concise. And remember, presence is not a personality, it is all about how you are managing your energy with clarity. Okay, and that needs to be showcased when you are speaking, the way you are sitting, your posture, the way you are taking pause. If you notice any known leaders, you would also notice that they don't talk in a hurry. They'll always talk with lot of pauses. Okay, lot of pauses, lot of non-verbal communication. That means lot of expressions would be there. Lot of expressions would be there on their face. They will make use of gestures. So all these things need to be showcased when you are actually establishing your leadership presence in a high stake meeting. All right. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you are up for the next one.
Yes.
All right, let's move. The next one is extremely important, which is emotional regulation under pressure. So, when the pressure increases, how do you react or how do you respond? Do you really react or respond? That is again a conscious choice that we need to make, right? Now, the identify the triggers which actually disturbs your emotional regulation. That's the exercise that you would need to do. You should always know your triggers. Maybe there's some scrutiny going on, some pressure is there, work pressure is there, there's unclear direction, lot of ambiguities are there, lot of changes are happening, there is a public challenge, right? Or the team is has not performed. So it comes, the pressure comes onto you. Now, how do you respond? Do you react or respond to these triggers? So you can identify your own triggers, and based on that, you can apply the tools that we are going to discuss right now. Just a quick check. When you get into the pressure, how is your tone? Do you speak fast or you slow down? Remember, if you speed up when you're talking, your influence will go down. Okay, so next time when you respond to this kind of situations or triggers, just make a note of how your voice is. The tool that we use to actually regulate our emotions under high pressure is the 90-second rule. Now, what does this rule tell us? Notice, pause, and reset. Remember that state which is, spiked up, it stays only for 90 seconds, not more than that. So for 90 seconds, you delay your response. First thing that you would need to do. Okay. Once you delay it for 90 seconds, you need to pause. Don't respond. When I say don't respond in the form of sending out emails, message, chat, whatever, meeting. And then you reset first of all. And how do we reset? Breathe slowly. Okay. And then acknowledge your emotions. Name your emotions, identify your emotions at that time, what you are going through. It could be anxious, it could be worry, it could be nervous, it could be anything. It could be anger also sometimes, right? So try to name the label. That means you are accepting that you are actually going through this emotion. The moment you acknowledge, label your emotion, it will start settling down. Okay. So this is the 90-second rule that talks about, and we have the prompt. When something happens, I feel so and so, and I tend to just, how do you want to respond? Just mention that. So, this is the 90-second rule. This is the tool which is highly helpful and recommended to manage or regulate your emotions in a high pressure situation. Remember, the way you react, that becomes really visible during the high pressure situation. So people won't remember other things, but they'll always remember how did you react to that situation. So have a control on that. What situations trigger your strongest emotional reactions at work? It could be public criticism, team underperformance, leadership pressure, lack of clarity. Just identify your triggers. And this is the, again, the interactive reflection that you need to do, and write one trigger and one response strategy. It could be 90-second tool also. Now, third thing is aligned communication. Now, we all know how important is the communication, right? What value, what importance it holds for us. Saying the right thing the right way for the right outcome, and you win the race, right? But having said that, it looks so simple, but at the same time, it is equally difficult to implement. So, again, it is a matter of practicing, but always practice it non stop without any break for 30 days continuously. And then it becomes part of your behavior. Alignment is how you move from sharing information to influencing direction without over explaining or avoiding hard truths. When we communicate, we all want to be heard, right? Whenever we speak in front of teams, in front of management, in front of leadership, we want to be heard. And if we really want to be heard, we want to shape up the communication, because that is the only way through which we can establish our presence, right? So, we need to have the aligned communication, a structured and organized communication, a influenced communication. What not to do, first of all, we need to focus on that, because most of the time we tend to over explain in the such forums, right? So stop over explaining. Too much of detail is not required. That actually says that you yourself is not clear, right? Under asserting, hints instead of clarity. So focus more on clarity than giving the indirect hints. And avoiding difficult conversation. We need not step out from the difficult conversation. Rather, we need to face those difficult conversation. And when you face those difficult conversation, remember that 90-second rule, because when hard conversation happens, we tend to lose our emotional reactions, right? So at that time, the other lever, that E, will be helpful. A quick check you can do: if your message doesn't change a decision, it is likely to be misaligned. So if your communication, if your message doesn't land the way you want to, that means there is something lacking at your end, the way you are presenting your communication. Okay? So focus should be more on framing or reframing your message. Move conversation towards outcome. So you need to frame your message more towards outcome based, right? And here as tool, we use CIR, that is context, insight, and recommendation. So when you are communicating what is happening, state the facts in one sentence, and then name the risk or opportunity or impact. And then what is your recommendation? So, for example, given the current delays, the risk for Q4 targets, that's the insight, and I recommend reallocating to resource this sprint. So, that's the recommendation. So, it is usually said when you are facing such kind of conversation, just don't go empty handed. Okay. You mention the challenge, at the same time, you mention the impact, and then you also accompany it with your recommendation. So your recommendation will help you to establish as a leader, because you are not looking for response from the people to whom you are presenting, but you are actually proposing a solution. You are going there with the problem along with the solution, and you just need to get their buy-in. And this actually asserts or aligned your communication to the management. Okay. So this is about aligned communication. Uh, there is again an interactive exercise. Maybe you can take a note of it. Take a real work update you tend to over explain. Rewrite it in 3 lines using the message triangle. The prompt given, we risk, I recommend, right? And clarity is leadership and alignment is influence. The next one is deliberate visibility, making your impact visible so that the right people can act on it, right? So, why visibility is hard? Because we think my work should speak for itself, but that's not true. We need to showcase our work in a way that it becomes visible to others. Fear of sounding self promotion. It is not about self promotion. You need to explicitly mention what you have done. Okay, that would help others to take the right decision. Visibility is equal to service to the organization. It helps leaders allocate resources, remove blockers, and replicate what is working and what is not working also. So a quick check: if your impact is not visible, it can't compound, right? Tools that you need to do is weekly impact reflection. Take a 5 minutes every Friday to capture the outcomes, not the task. So always reroute your communication on outcome based, right? What impact did I create, or what outcome decisions unlocked, risk reduced, and speed gain? Who needs to know? Leaders, partner, team, sponsor, or decision maker? You need to make the choice. Who is the consumer of your communication, and how will I communicate it? One sentence, one ask. Next steps: what would be the format of your communication? Okay, the more concise your communication is, the better it is. So as part of micro commitment, you can think about this week: share just one insight, not just an update, in a forum that matters. Okay, so practice this. Practical tool, talking about the tool to create the visibility, is speak, share, and volunteer. Speak in the key forums like steering, updates, reviews, cross team sync. Share strategic insights. Strategic insights don't get too much into transactional stuffs, right? So pattern, risk, learning, trade-offs. And volunteer in cross-functional environment where you can take certain initiatives to touch multiple stakeholders. You can also deliver learning sessions which helps others to, you know, feel self-empowered. You can also think of helping or enabling or giving mentorship to a couple of people in your team or in the organization. So that is also something which creates visibility, doing something which is not part of your day-to-day work. People think they see beyond their lane and I can trust their signal. So this is the listener outcome. So think, when you are creating the visibility, when you are communicating with influence, think about what would be the impact on the listener. So this is another interactive exercise that will help you to establish your visibility. What impact did I create this week? Who needs to know, and how will I communicate it? So frame your response around this and try implementing it in the coming week. And the last one is edge, where we talk about elevating strategic influence. So you have been doing a lot of operational stuffs, right? A lot of transactional stuffs, helping others to do things. But here, take a shift from operational thinking to enterprise thinking. And I'll conclude my conversation by these questions, these strategic questions, which you can apply in those communication, right? So build your strategic influence. Be the person who connects work to the outcomes, and think at a wider level, at enterprise level, rather than confining your thought process to team level. So that's it about the lead edge framework. This is a very brief, outline of this framework. I hope this is useful. Any question?
I think we have a couple of questions came in, but I think really maybe I'll start one thing, Shweta. You
Yeah.
wanted to keep sharing or you want to stop sharing?
No, I want to stop sharing.
Yeah, then you can stop sharing.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I think this is very powerful because otherwise people stuck in the mid-level career, right? That's the objective of this framework, right? Is it correct? I mean, like my understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So we have another question came in, like Yakub. Yakub, can you ask your question? So Yakub is asking, it is when you are talking
Hi,
about the
Shweta.
communication. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Hi. Yeah.
Thank you for the insights. I got a question when you were presenting this to about a communication.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to check if the other end, right, they never want to listen because it's not for the sake of our own thing, but it's for the sake of the company, enterprise level. But they never want to listen to us or never want to work on the feedback that is given to them. How do we handle it?
Okay. Firstly, uh, whenever you are, sharing any feedback, you need to again make use of some framework, some constructive feedback mechanism, so that the feedback that you are sharing is impactful. Now, the feedback, when we give the feedback, we need to ensure that it is not attacking the person. It is always in reference to some situation. Okay. And you need to mention the impact of that communication also. Then only that will make more sense to them. Another approach that you can use is, instead of giving the feedback in public in a forum, you can, have a one to one conversation. If not formal, you can just have a catch up over a coffee or tea, right? Sometimes informal communication helps the other person to open up, and it will help you also to build better rapport with the person and win the trust. See, when people is not listening, when people are not listening, that means we lack in, creating that credibility and trust. And that's a slow process. That's not a one time event or one time, medicine that you can have and things will get resolved. So that is why when I said, when you are applying these tools, apply for 30 days consistently and then see the impact, whether that person is actually listening to you or not, right? So practice it for some time and then see the change. It will not happen overnight. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. I think Yakub messaged that. So,
Yeah.
Shweta, just to put more for my clarification, this lead edge framework, is it something a proprietary framework you created, or is it like something available in the? I first time I'm hearing for about this one.
Yeah,
Just
I know, because I researched and I came up with this framework. It's not a
okay,
proprietary from other sources.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Sweta, one question.
Yeah.
Sandeep here.
Yeah, Sandeep.
So, Sweta, one of your slide, you mentioned that instead of building your skills, you need to build your influence,
Influence.
right? So, let's say I'm stuck in my mid-career and I did not work on my basic skills, right? That can be maybe communication skills or not being proactive, right?
Yeah.
Can I still be influential then?
No, what I mentioned is, you have spent all these years in developing lot of skills. Now is the time to build influence. You cannot keep on investing your time, entire life in building the skills. Okay. Now, somewhere you have to take that initiative, that leap, right? It's not that you lack completely onto that skill. Okay. Now, if you really think you lack certain major things in your communication skill, then definitely you can just, uh, work towards it for 1 month. That's enough. Okay. But then you don't need to procrastinate taking the next step of building influence. That is more important, right? With whatever skills, communication skills you have, at least take a small step towards building the influence and just have a taste of it.
Mm.
Okay. It's not, you are in the industry, that itself tells me that you don't lack the communication skill. How experienced you are, Sandeep, if I may ask you?
Around 13 to 14 years
That's a
work.
good amount of time you have been working.
Mm.
When you talk about communication skill, it is all those cumulative experience that you had in these 13 to 14 years. And that is part of your communication. Your experience would talk, right? But many times what happens, out of some fear or the other, we procrastinate
Mm.
from taking that new step, right? And the
Mm.
moment you just take that leap, and that we call it as transition step, be courageous, take that small step to build your influence. Just see how it feels. I'm sure you would not look back,
Mm.
right? It's a matter of trusting yourself, uh, and nothing else, right? It's there. What I can sense is there is some kind of fear which is, holding you back, that confidence, and that is leading to lack of confidence. For
Mm.
13 years you have worked, right? How can you say that you are lacking onto the communication skill? Without communication, it's difficult to survive in the industry for 13 to 14 years. Have that confidence, right? And just take the next step.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for clarifying. And one
Anything
thing is,
else?
this is happening physically in Hyderabad. So people from other states, they need to travel, right? Or is it happening virtual also?
No, it's a physical event, Sandeep, July 10 and 11.
Okay.
Uh, all the sessions are physical, no virtual events at this point of time. Yeah.
Sandeep, I'll be traveling to Hyderabad from Gurgaon. And I do travel every alternate year. This RSG happens in Hyderabad. And it's not only about Hyderabad, any location, these community event is a forum where we do a community learning. And that's massive. For next 6 months also, if you spend time in learning, you would not learn that much what you learn in these 2 days of events.
Mm.
Excellent points, Shweta. But I also added networking.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you learn from various sources, not only through
Mm.
the sessions, but you learn from each other. You create a solid networking. I'll tell you, I left my full-time job in 2018. I got into my independent consulting work. Okay. And
Mm.
the only source of getting my work is through networking. And I attend these events. I'm active on LinkedIn. I attend these events especially to physically meet people from different, industries, and exchange our expertise. And that is how I get my work also. So it is highly, learning forum, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we are talking about influence, same thing. Like I think I have remember a quote: "Who you know is more important than what you know." You
Exactly.
just said that, no? Like you said that, instead of building on your technical skills, build on your influential skills. It's
Yes.
exactly the same thing, right? Who you know
Yes.
is more important than what you know in any organization, in any settings. I think, going forward, future,
See
what you
what
know is will be, what do you say? How do I say that in the coming era, like in AI, AI is really taking so much of advance. Anybody can learn anything quickly. It's so
See,
easy.
there is no
Somebody.
end to knowledge or learning. There's
That's
no end,
mm,
right? So, but the time is now to take the next leap and start building your influence. Knowledge parallelly, it will keep on happening. Till date, I keep on investing, time, money, effort in learning new things. But that doesn't mean that, I pause and I don't, get into building my influence onto others. Whatever it takes to build influence, I'll do that.
beautiful, Sheda. Thank you so much for sharing this insight. I think I really felt something very important, I believe, in this conversation. Many people are not aware of this importance of this, right? They stuck in mid career, they're not aware of it. I do not know like what is the solution for that, because in IT, unless you really bring that visibility, you really bring that impact, and how do you grow? And you stagnant, in a place, and you are not even aware what to do about it. So awareness is a big challenge, is what I feel. And maybe again, that's another reason, Sandeep, and for others, that getting in this kind of a session where aware of what's happening around it. But yeah.
Yeah, I think in 2024 we had RSG Hyderabad,
Mm-hmm.
and we had held this coaching clinic,
Mm.
and the maximum number of attendees who had attended, 70 people were coached,
Mm.
and
Wow.
in those 2 days of event and in
Mhm.
various areas. There were a lot of people who were stuck in their mid career and they aspired to
Mhm.
be a leader too. They wanted to grow, right? And who doesn't want to grow, right?
True.
So
Mm.
these kind of forums, you never know. Just one conversation can unblock or take you out of that, limiting belief that you cannot take this step. So
Very beautifully
it
said.
is so impactful.
Thank you so much, Shweta, for sharing that. For those who are in Hyderabad, those who are willing to travel, I think this is the best time to definitely invest on this one. Yes, Jay Krishna, you have a question?
Okay, one last question we can take from Jay. After that, we
Yeah.
have to announce the discount.
Yeah,
So,
sure, sure. Yes.
which everybody is waiting.
It's not a question. When Shweta mentioned in 2024, we had a coaching session. I mean, I approached three people. At that time, I was looking for a job. I mean, I was just laid off. And then after attending this session and then coaching session, and my confidence grew because I come from a mechanical engineering side. I was in aerospace department for 12 years, and I then shifted to IT. Then one of the coach mentioned like I mean aerospace industry is more tough than IT jobs. That one statement gave me a boost, and then I got a job. I was placed as a senior scrum master in EPAM, and yesterday I completed 1 year.
Wow,
Wow.
amazing, amazing.
This is such a beautiful testimonial. Really great.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that, Jay Krishna. Thank you. So looking forward to see you for the session. And
Yeah.
let me share you the most exciting event. So this is
we are
probably the last time you can.
we hope to see you, Jai Krishna, again this year.
Yeah, sure.
So this is the last, probably before next webinar, probably the super early bird will be out of gone. So this may be a last opportunity to join on, get a post on, no, 1 second, let me check that. So the super early bird is just, the minimum amount is about 7,000 plus GST. But for today's webinar, or today's the price is special prices for you for 10% discount. So I have sent you that payment page URL, and you can complete the payment ASAP. That would allow you to participate 2 days of events, and you have that RSG Hyderabad page to look at for all the things which is available for you. As it like I really like the statement what Shweta made. It's about community learning, right? When we are in industry, it is never we can there's never a point that we can stop learning, right? Yeah, so that's what all about it, and I'm sharing the link for you. Yeah. uh, In case any questions or anything, we can. I think we are on top of the hour. So any questions? Any last one question or comments?
We are exactly on time and we all are practicing the time boxing principle.
Time
So
boxing, right?
that's an amazing thing.
Shweta, I think this is really an eye opener. I really feel that more people to aware of what they're doing and how can they do it. And I think you very beautifully put all the steps for getting there. And it's not only just a theoretical but your practical approach. You take one element, practice for 1 month, then you build upon others very consciously, and then you have a way to reflect on that and see how do you want to improve. Amazing. I think I really appreciate sharing that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Feel
far.
free to connect with me. I shared my
Yeah.
contact details already.
Yeah.
If you want me to share again, I can share
Yeah, I
that.
think if you
And
can share that once
yeah,
again, I think that would be great. In case somebody might have. Thank you so much, guys, everyone, for joining. Really appreciate. We'll have another session coming in next month. So we have a couple of more sessions. We'll announce it, and please continue to participate on sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
Shweta, you have shared your details, or
just sharing.
yeah, please. I'll wait for another minute.
This is my LinkedIn profile,
Yep.
and if you want to explore more about this framework, if you need any help, guidance, just let me know.
Beautiful.
I'll be happy to
Thank
help.
you so much, Shweta. Really, and
So,
great to see you all, everyone.
payment page, it's asking for location. Should I just say Hyderabad or where I'm
Yes,
coming?
Hyderabad. You payment page, right? It's Hyderabad. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. I mean, this will be the the lowest cost you can anytime you can get it. So let's not uh, delay it further.
sure. Thank
So,
you.
okay, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank
Shweta.
you,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Shweta.
A
A
great
wonderful
rest of
Thank
session.
your
you.
day.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.